I will never forget the events of that day. It was one of those evenings when the harmattan wind carried whispers through the village of Ndemu, stirring up old grudges like dust in the air. The sun was sinking behind the baobab trees when I, Musa, the village teller, found myself caught in a drama that would be spoken of for years to come. It all started with Nafula, the woman with eyes sharp as a mongoose and a tongue that could slice through a man's pride. She had been married to Juma, a proud hunter whose exploits in the forest were the stuff of legend. His traps never came back empty, his arrows never missed their mark. But despite his prowess, his home was not a place of peace. Rumors had begun to swell like a swollen river, whispering of his nightly absences, of a younger woman in the next village who had caught his wandering eye. Nafula was not a woman to suffer humiliation in silence. She moved through the village with a quiet, unsettling patience, her mind working like a weaver's loom. No one knew when she had first gone to the old herbalist, but we all saw her coming back with a bundle of strange-smelling roots wrapped in banana leaves. We assumed it was for the usual ailments, a cough, a fever, but we should have known better. That evening, Nafula cooked Juma's favorite dish, a thick, spicy goat stew, bubbling in the clay pot, its aroma wrapping around the compound like an invitation. The scent carried through the air, making even the children pause in their games to breathe it in. Juma arrived just as the first stars blinked into the sky. He was in a good mood, laughing heartily, slapping his thigh, and greeting the elders with exaggerated respect. But when he sat before his meal, I noticed the way Nafula watched him, her eyes gleaming, her lips pressed together in a firm line. He took the first bite eagerly, chewing with satisfaction, then the second. By the third, he paused, his brows drawing together. He cleared his throat and took another bite. Sweat began to bead on his forehead. He reached for his calabash of water and took a deep gulp. His hand trembled. By the time he stood up, his legs were shaking, and a look of sheer panic crossed his face. He clutched at his stomach, groaning loudly. The children scattered, the women gasped, and the elders exchanged knowing glances. The whispers spread like fire. Juma stumbled forward, then turned to glare at his wife. "Nafula, what have you done?" He croaked, his voice thick with pain. She wiped her hands on her wrapper and looked at him coolly. "I cooked for my husband, as any good wife would," she said. "Eat more. There is still plenty." A nervous chuckle rippled through the gathering crowd, but Juma was not laughing. He let out a strangled cry, clutching his waist, his legs buckling. He fell to his knees, his face twisted in agony. "What did you put in the food?" one of the elders demanded, stepping forward. Nafula did not flinch. "Just herbs," she said. "Good, strong herbs, ones that make a man's heart faithful and his feet remain within his own home." A collective murmur rose. The women nodded knowingly, some casting furtive glances at their own husbands. The men shifted uncomfortably. The old herbalist, who had been watching silently, let out a low chuckle. "Oh, the stew of reckoning," he muttered. "It does not harm, but it teaches a lesson." Juma groaned again, rolling onto his side. The once proud hunter, the man who walked with his chest puffed out, lay in the dust, his strength drained. He would live, the elders assured everyone, but something had been taken from him. A power, a pride, something invisible, yet undeniable. From that day on, Juma never strayed. He walked the village with measured steps, his eyes fixed ahead, his laughter subdued. And as for Nafula, she carried herself with a quiet satisfaction, her cooking still sought after, her name whispered with admiration by women who envied her boldness. And so, the tale of Nafula and her fiery stew became legend in Ndemu. It was a story told with laughter, with caution, and with the ever-present knowledge that in matters of the heart and the stomach, a wise man must tread carefully.